Hey everyone, it's Frederick Kramer here, and in this video I'm going to talk about a mechanism in the human brain, a cognitive bias that literally every human has, that you can use to outcompete your entire market. That's going to give you a massive edge over every single competitor that you have right now. My name is Frederick Kramer, in case you don't know me yet, and I'm on a mission to revolutionize productivity by helping agency owners double, triple, or quadruple the speed at which they get rich. And without further ado, let's get right into that. First of all, if you want to outcompete people in your market, what you probably want is more results than them, right? You want more clients, you want to make more money than them, you want to have more of an authority in your space. And how you do this, like all these things that I just talked about are outputs. And as you probably know, in order to achieve an output, every single time you need to do inputs. And this is the very first principle, or like one of the first principles of business. You never want to focus on outputs, right? Of course, when you want to achieve goals, they're probably going to be about your outputs. But when you want to achieve your goals, you should only be focused on the inputs. What should make you happy at the end of the day is how much you could actually achieve and not how much money you made or how much the effect happened by the stuff that you've been doing. You should always just focus on doing the right things and doing a lot of them, because if you do this, then you're automatically going to get to your outcome, and simply the inputs should make you happy. Simply this thing will already make you outcompete all the people in your market that are not doing this. And I promise you, most people, even though they are probably aware of this concept, they're not really doing this. They're just looking at, if they go on the call and they're like, yeah, I'm going to close this guy or something. And then they don't even focus on just doing the call properly, right? If you just go on a call and make sure, I just want to go on as many calls as I can and just get better at that, then you're automatically going to close clients, and it's going to be a lot easier for you, especially on an emotional level, when compared to the guy that's just, yeah, I'm going to close this guy or something, right? That's the very first thing. So now, obviously, our goal is to, in that analogy and with that concept, if we want to outcompete other people, is that we want to get as many inputs into the system of reality as possible, right? And here's where that mechanism comes into play, if you say that. Anyway, the mechanism that I'm talking about is the human over-optimism tendency. And what that means is that we as humans, and sometimes it's like crazy how irrational that is really, we are incredibly over-optimistic with the things that we can get done. Now, I don't know where you're from, especially when you're watching this video right now, but for the guys from Germany or the guys who are familiar with the city of Berlin, a few years ago, there was an airport being finished, and that airport, so like one of the airports in Berlin, the plan was to finish that, I don't know, in like 2010 or something like that, very, very, long ago from perspective of 2025. And it took them way longer than they estimated, and it used to become like a joke in Berlin, where if somebody was like taking too long to finish the task or something, it's like, whoa, like when you're finished, the fucking airport is going to be done or something like that, right? Is one example. But if you're not familiar with Berlin or any like other city, in literally every city there's probably going to be like a certain project where people were like, yeah, it's going to be done at this point, and it's never the case. It's always going to take longer, and the same thing applies to this building is going to cost us $2 billion, and at the end it's like 10 billion or something. I don't know if buildings are like that expensive, but you get the point. Humans are just stupid, and I don't know really why that is happening, but humans are just incredibly over-optimistic. And by itself, you're probably going to think, okay, well, that's obviously not a good thing, right? It's like, how is this like fallacy in the human mind going to help me get more done than other people? I'm going to tell you. So after that, what you want to get done is obviously going to be more usually than you will actually get done. So if we take a look on this on a daily level, because on a monthly level it's basically impossible to plan something looking like 30 days ahead really. But if we look at this on a daily level, you will see that what you want to get done in a day, like if you were just completely honest with like, I want to get this done honestly, and honestly I also want that to be done, right? Because as a smart person, that if you get more done, then you're going to get more outcomes. More of the outcome that you want is going to be way more than what you are actually going to get done in 90% of the cases, right? Sometimes you just think something is going to take very long, and then it's actually pretty easy, right? You might say like a sales call is going to take you like 1 hour 15 minutes or something, and then it actually just takes you like half an hour. Things like these can happen, but it's rather rare, and I just want to focus on 90% of the cases where that is not happening, and where the amount of things that you plan in the day is a lot more than you would normally really get done, right? So what we want to do now to make sure that we gain this massive edge that I just talked about at the beginning of this video is that we want to take a look at what we want to get done in a day, and we want to be brutally honest with everything that we really want to get done in the day, right? So I can't give you like a specific example because everyone's situation is different, and it's also just going to waste time in some way. But you probably have some projects that you're working on right now, and you want to move forward on them, right? Every single day when you go to bed, you want to feel like I did so much stuff today. This literally felt like an entire week's worth of work. I don't know if that was grammatically correct. Anyway, you just want to get a lot of things done, right? And you want to look at your day and you want to think of all the things that you genuinely want to get done. And first of all, we're going to forget about like, does it actually make sense? Just take in the things that you want to get done, in the day. And once we have this, chances are that your to-do list for that day is going to be very, very long, or you have some few key points, and each of these points is just going to take very, very long, right? And as soon as you have these points, then you want to critically think and rationally think, how can I actually make this happen, right? You don't want to think, okay, I have like this amount of time, what can I do in that amount of time? You want to say like, okay, I have all of these projects for the day, how can I make sure that all of these projects fit into the day? And when you do this, you will start to stretch your capacity of what you as a human can do. I promise you, humans can do a lot more than you genuinely believe. Like if you look at David Goggins, like this dude is destroying everything, but every single human will technically, after some training, be capable of doing such things. Humans are just pussies in some way, and humans like comfort, and that's the reason why we're not doing that. And we can get around this like tendency for comfort by having this over optimism, because more comfort is obviously going to be at the end of the day when we go to bed and we think like, okay, like I've done so much today. It's going to be a lot more comfortable than, yeah, this day was really cool, but I feel miserable because I haven't done anything, right? So we want to be very rational, and you just want to think, okay, like what is this task? Like if I want to achieve that, what do I actually need to do that? And to do these like certain points to get the task done, what do I need to do to get these points done? And you want to list them all up on your like daily planner, wherever you plan your day or how you do that. And you want to think, okay, like how quickly do I need to get finished with the tasks to make sure that I get everything done that I wanted to get done for the day, right? Like I said, it's about the input, not the outcome or output of the day that we want to plan. And that is one thing. And then you'll realize that, first of all, you will realize that if you genuinely follow that, it's going to be a bit harder, but you'll also realize that you can get a lot more done in the same day. And this is a very core principle and something that's very, very satisfying, which is that volume. So the amount of work that you do, or the quality, is obviously not just about, like the work in itself, but how quality the work was, is a lot more important, or matters a lot more than how long it took you to do something, right? It happens to me so often where there are people introducing themselves on their YouTube, I don't know, like in their videos, and they say like, yeah, I have like 20 years of business experience, and people are like, yeah, I'm working here for like 20 years or something, and they're like genuinely being proud, and they think that the amount of time is important. But what actually matters is not how long you have been doing something for, but really just how much have you actually, like finished or like accomplished to do. And this is crazy. Like there's so many people, like new people in the space, they're just dominating everyone and they're destroying everyone. Like for example, Iman Ghazi, I think he's 25 years old or 26 years old right now. And this guy has like 5 million subscribers, and nobody's saying like, oh yeah, this is like an old YouTube channel, even though he started like 9 years ago. And like people are going to think, okay, like this guy's 25 years old, this guy's 30 years old, I'm going to trust him more, especially like stupid people in the business world is a bit more rational. But people just go with time way more than with volume. But it's going to be like so much more effective. Like you can get so much more done in a day than you by just getting used to this bias of like, yeah, time is important, are actually expecting. Like you can get like 5 times as much done in a day as you might think right now, just by forcing yourself and by leaving out the crap. By the way, if you want to leave out the crap and you want to learn how to do this properly, I literally released a 1-hour video like 3-4 days ago, as of when this video is being published. You might check that out. But anyway, let's go on with this video. There are so many examples of that, and I just wanted to quickly add with one story from my life. So personally, I'm as of making this video right now, I don't know when you're watching this, but as of making this video right now, I'm 16 years old, and that's not to brag with anything, but people genuinely trust me a lot less just because I'm 16 years old or because I look younger than other people. This is like stupid crap, right? Because I have done things that people being like 19, 20 years old who will get more confidence haven't. And yeah, sure, most people have this bias and they're going to act like, okay, yeah, I'm just 16 years old, I'm not good at doing something. But there are probably other people being like 25 years old or something, starting YouTube channels right now, doing similar stuff than I am doing, but I'm just acting like them in some way. And like I said, this is not to flex or something, but it happened to me so often in the past where people like genuinely didn't like me just because I was younger and because I had achieved like the same amount in my life as they have done. For example, in Germany we have like a school system, and there's like this like school graduation, like the highest degree, and usually when people finish that they're like 18 years old or something, or 19 years old, and I have done this like this year with 16 years old, and people just don't like me because of that, because they feel bad. But okay, maybe school is a bad example, but for a lot of other things in life, how quickly you're doing something doesn't, like, the time doesn't matter. It's just matter. It only matters what you're doing. I think you got it now. And I want to give 2 more examples for that. If there's a race, like I don't know, like some bicycle race, and there are 2 people, and like 2 persons, and person A is taking 5 hours for the entire race and achieves a distance, or like gets past a distance of 60 kilometers, right? Or 60 miles for the Americans here. And person B is taking 3 hours but achieves 100 kilometers. And this entire thing, like, yeah, like 20 years of expertise, like this culture will literally gratify the person and say like, yeah, you've been around for 5 hours, you're better than the other person who has been around for 3 hours, right? Stupid. Like, it's just stupid. Like, sometimes I've been on sales calls and people were like, yeah, but I rather want someone who's like in the game for like 5 years, or like, how long have you been doing this? It's just stupid. The question is rather like, what have you done, right? It's not, like very, very direct. It's not like how many years have you put in, it's rather how much money have you made in some way, right? And in reality, obviously the person who has achieved like 100 kilometers is way more successful than the person that just got like 60 kilometers. Obviously, a distance is just an arbitrary measure, but it's about as stupid as that is. And that's also the reason why I personally dislike hourly rates, like totally, right? If you're telling someone, yeah, like every single hour that you work, I'm just going to give you $15 for that, right? Like, what happens to that person? It's literally the direct. Of course, the person is going to feel like a bit more comfortable, maybe not that stressed. They can work for like more years because they won't feel like, you know, like stressed, obviously. But this is basically the best incentive to make someone unproductive. If you just tell them, yeah, every single hour you do that, you're going to get like $15. That's stupid, right? They can't even like, they don't have an influence of how much they can make. They can only work for longer, right? And that's the reason, obviously, extra point of value, why you want to do incentive structures in your business where when other people work for you, you want to pay them per result and not per hour. If you're doing that per hour, you're basically just being stupid, right? In some cases, a base salary makes sense, but for most of the part, you just want to do it with incentive structures. So now that we got that, you just have to like move like you have to get away from the belief that you need like to take like a certain amount of time. You just want to think, okay, what do I want to get done today? And then you just push everything into that day, and then you start to get rational of, you know, how can I actually do this? And before we get to the practical steps, I want to quickly go to one more quote that people usually have, which is this classical thing of like, humans overestimate how much they can get done in a day, but all of us heavily underestimate how much we can get done in a year. And usually what happens then is that the aggregate of all humans is splitting into, yeah, I'm going to get everything done by tomorrow, and I want to become like a millionaire by March 2027 or some crazy stuff like that, right? People go like that, and then there are other people like, yeah, it's all a marathon, you have all the time that you have, it's just about what you get done in a year. But what we want to do is that we just want to take both extremes and merge them together, right? We're going to say, okay, today I want to get, tomorrow, so let's say it's I don't know, it's the Thursday today of me making this video, tomorrow is Friday. On Friday I want to get this, and this done, and then, obviously this might be irrational, but then you want to say, okay, how can I do this? Okay, okay, it's a ton of stuff, but let me see how can I do this. Okay, if I do this and then I do that step, okay, this is going to take me like 5 minutes if I'm really honest. Then I have this step and then that step and everything, and you plan everything together, and then you see, okay, if I follow this plan, it's going to be a bit painful. Maybe you even have to leave like a few steps out that you genuinely couldn't do, but it's still like a lot more than usual. And you can look at that and think like, okay, if I can follow this plan, maybe it's painful, maybe it's going to force my body to work harder than I'm usually working. You know, you look at that and say, okay, it will be possible to achieve all of that. And then the next day, you want to take that plan, you want to take these like time slots that you've given yourself, and then you just want to make sure that as much as possible, you're just following how much you've planned there by the right amount of time in terms of the inputs. Because with the inputs, you can basically control like 100% how quickly you're getting things done. With the outputs, so for example, how much money you're making, it's obviously way different. It doesn't make sense at all to set yourself a goal, say like, I want to get to 10K a month by, I don't know, like August 2026, 2025, right? It's just stupid because you cannot control it that much. With the inputs, it's a different thing. And when you're doing that, so first of all, when you're doing this for the first time, you're going to realize that what you planned there is absolutely crazy. Like you've planned like way too much. Then you're going to realize how incredibly irrational this human over-optimism tendency is. But you're going to take a look at that, and you know, maybe you're not going to get everything done from that list, but still at the end of your day, you're going to think like, dude, like today I still got twice as much done as usual, right? And as you get better at this, you're going to become your over-optimism is actually going to go down a little bit, but you still want to think, okay, how much do I actually want to get done? And if you have achieved everything that you wanted to get done at the end of the day, you're going to be like 10 times happier than usual at the end of the day, right? And so that's that, and everyone who's not doing this in comparison to you when you're using that, it's just going to be like trash. They're like, okay, so I have these projects. Today I just woke up, I don't really have a plan, I know when I usually work, okay, now I'm going to work on that. Okay, the time is up, I gotta have my lunch now, okay, now I'm going to work on that. And they just go about their lives casually, and they don't have, okay, I want today, like genuinely, like if I'm not getting that and that and that and that done, I'll just be pissed off. Like I just want more stuff done, right? And that's probably the reason why we as entrepreneurs are able to work so much, because we're just different kinds of people that want to get done more. Now, I have just talked for like 17 and a half minutes, which is better than the last videos, but I still, you know, you probably still don't know, okay, like what exactly can I do? I want to give you an exact list of steps that you can follow immediately after this video that are going to help you actually get this insane edge over your competition. And by the way, the edge is not going to be insane if you just do this for one day. You need to do this for months, like one day after another. But if you do this for months, you will see that you will just outcompete everyone, because all the other people, or maybe if it's just 50% of your competitors who are not using this exact framework, most of them are just going to be slower than you, and this will just make you faster and force you to work quicker. So what I want you to do now, from this video onwards, plan every single day of your life, always. Take the time to plan your day. It's going to take you no more than 15 minutes. Sometimes I get it done in 5 minutes when the day is pretty simple. It's not going to take you more than 15 minutes. And what I just talked about, like the edge, like how to particularly analyze things, just this like bias, okay, today I'm going to get this done, and then you just force yourself to do it. It's going to get you like hours, like every single day. It's going to drop hours into your life back. You cannot tell me that you don't have the time to plan your day for 15 minutes a day. If you're telling me that, then go watch yourself being outcompeted by someone else watching this video, okay? I just want to be straight up honest. So, and then obviously, like I said, you want to plan your day, like write down a certain to-do list with like times when you want to do what, and then you're just going to think, okay, like what do I genuinely want to do now? Look at your projects, look at the point of progress you're currently having, and then try to think of the progress that you want to make tomorrow, like straight tomorrow. Because if you put all of this in one day and you just add this up like for an entire month, it's going to be a lot, right? And like I said, you think of all these points, and then you genuinely look at the time that you have available and think, okay, like how can I do this? How can I make all of this happen? And yeah, sure, sometimes you maybe have to kick like one or two things out, or you're not going to read like 400 pages of a book, but just 250 or something. But you know, for the most part, you will be able to keep things in, yeah, like 90-80% should really like be kept in. And then you just want to genuinely think, okay, how can I accomplish these things? And then it's just like the next thing, you just want to execute that stuff. And when you really do this and you do some reps for that, then you will be very, very able to get better at that, and you'll be able to destroy your entire competition. By the way, if you have an agency and if you want to scale an agency and every single day, at the end of the day, you think you could have done like 10 times more and you're unhappy, there's a link in the description where you can learn how we can help you beyond these videos. It doesn't matter to me really if you click that or not. What matters to me is that your precious time is being saved essentially. So I just wanted to leave that door open. That's everything for this video today. If you want YouTube to recommend you more of these videos, then feel free to like, subscribe, and comment to this video. Well, you can't subscribe to the video, but you get my point, right? And then I can just tell you, like, I genuinely appreciate you watching to the end of this video, not just because I'm getting like some crazy retention, but it's genuinely helping you and your attention span. And yeah, thanks for watching to the end, mate, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great one. Bye.